What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled The Black Male Experience. Lacking adult conversations. I think one of the things that brothers have longed for, whether it's with their parents, whether it's with the opposite sex, whether it's with just older people or elders, black men have lacked the adult conversations. And what I mean by that is this: you want brothers to be better men, but the way people want us to be better men is really asinine if you think about it. Like, you don't want to be bothered with us when we're children. You dislike us. We're the side kids of the race, right? And then when we turn 18, we're grown men who's supposed to know everything that we were never taught. Which, like I said, makes absolutely no sense. But for some odd reason, people think that makes sense. So we have to have this conversation, right? We're lacking real adult conversations. Like, severely lacking. Like, people aren't talking to us about the first step of becoming an adult is getting your own place. Guys don't know. You're finding out, about apartment leases on your own, and how bills work on your own, and credit on your own, and how it affects your day-to-day life and interactions on your own. Everybody's finding this stuff out because there's no adult conversation. Nobody's telling you that when you're looking at something and it looks like it's mathematically unfair and unrealistic and BS, and you're getting screwed, but there's really no way for you to figure out how to get around it, is because you never had that adult conversation. And nobody had that conversation with you when it was their job as an adult, whether it be family or older, family, or even friends, or other people's family, to sit you down and say, look, when you get an apartment, this is the amount you're gonna need. Don't go for that. Oh, I want to be on this side. I want to look fly, because at some point you don't want to live in an apartment forever, and you don't want to spend all of your money having a flyest apartment every year, but at the end of the year you don't have enough money to put down a down payment for a home, because you're paying more for an apartment than you would a mortgage, because you want to look fly. You got to scale it down. Apartments are meant to be stepping stones to houses. They're not meant to be a perpetual place to live. Those adult conversations. When people say, "Oh, I see this car come out. I want to get the flyest car. It's brand new." Like, listen, no, don't get that brand new car. You get a used car with low miles. That way, it's fairly new. People don't know how many miles are in your car from the outside when you're driving. As long as it's clean and you've taken care of it, they all look good, up close and from afar. Then but before you do that, get your credit right. Because it's better if you having a car note, which most people do. It's better to have a car note with good credit than it is with bad credit, because then you're gonna really be paying far too much for a car if if you have bad credit. And then you got to tell people, hey, this is adult conversation. I had to learn this the hard way. because I didn't have that adult conversation, where my family member stole my identity. Thus, it messed up my credit. Thus, my everything that every purchase that I made, even my home, even after I basically found out about what a family member stealing my identity and charging up gang of cash, you know, like a crackhead. I had to pay off those debts, but it was like, I think I found out a year late. So even though I paid everything off and it was disputed, because that's the other thing about family, right? They didn't want, I couldn't, they didn't, my family was silent. They was all, I knew, yeah, he always stole people identities. Well, why was I around this dude and y'all knew that? Well, he didn't steal ours, but we knew he might steal yours if you was around him, but we just was gonna wait to see if it happened. And so he stole mine. I found out a year later. So now it's like, okay, I'm about to whip his ass. You can't whip his ass. We family. You can't shoot him because we family. You can't call the police because we family. But then when I had like a 17% interest rate on my damn car, family don't know nothing. Jesus gonna help you, baby. You know what I'm saying? So, that type of stuff. um, People don't tell you about refinancing. They don't tell you that stuff. They don't explain to you the upside and the downside to refinancing, and why you should do it if you're in that position, and and hopefully you don't wait too long to do it. Just like having refinancing a car, you gotta you gotta hurry up. Refinancing a home, say you bought a home, you signed a 30-year mortgage, and you had a certain interest rate because of your credit. You pay your house off, you pay your mortgage on time every month for at least a year. After that year, you refinance. You pay all your bills the same way. So if your credit rate was, say, 600, by the end of the year is 700, 720, 750. If you're really doing good, right? You really chipping away at everything. You're on point. Then you refinance. You're gonna have to sometimes you're gonna have to put up another down payment to refinance. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes they give you the money, they refund it back to you. It just depends. But that you refinance after a year. You want to be lucky, year and a half, 2 years, however you want to do it, right? Now you got to understand that mortgage starts again. Now you don't want to refinance when you're 15 years in, because you really, you might be refinancing. It depends on how much you've dug into the principal of that house. You feel me? Like if the house is $300,000, and you 10 years in, and the house is $250, and you refinancing, you basically starting from scratch. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah. But if you 10 years in and you've been paying principal payments and stuff, it's a different thing. Other thing like adult conversations. Backing up. We never had the conversation about principal payments. That's why you buy something that you can afford, that you like, but that you can afford. That way, and stay within your means when you do it. That way, if you say, okay, man, I'm comfortable paying, I can pay a $300 note with no problem. No problem. Like, good. So find a $250 car that you like with a $250 note, and then use that extra $50 to make principal payments every month. Same thing with a house, right? That's an adult conversation. I got my income tax. Good. If you get I make too much money to get fucking money back. But if you get money back and you got a home, if you want people to get two, three, four, five, $10,000, take some of that money and make a principal payment. You know, you would take down, because if you had a 30-year mortgage, excuse me, if you had a 30-year mortgage and say you made a $200 principal payment every month, you probably pay off your house in 15 years. You know, and add a few bucks, you add a few, knock it down a few years. You get what I'm saying? So it's that type of thing, right? So if you don't want to do that with principal payments, you do that with income tax. You feel me? That's where a lot of people mess up with their earned income credit when when they're custodial parents. They could have been so much far ahead, but they wanted to just buy stupid stuff with their earned income credit when they could have just made their life easier as they go. But we lacking those adult conversations. The conversations about how to interact with the opposite sex. People give you those, be a player, get as much ass as you want. Yeah, yeah. But they don't talk about whether you work with a woman or whether you don't work with a woman. Leave her with a good taste in her mouth and make sure she has to respect you. She don't gotta like you, but that she respects you. You know, because if you did everything the right way, and they have no complaints, then the onus is on them to get it together, not you. You get what I'm saying? So, you, same thing as far as being a man. Like, the adult conversation of telling guys you can't take shortcuts. You can't scam your way out of being a man. You can't do that. You can work smarter and not harder, but you still got to work hard. That doesn't, once you work smarter, that doesn't mean you get to kick your feet up and relax. You still got to grind. Those adult conversations. We don't have the conversation of, of who to trust and who not to trust in our family. Necessary. And why? And I think that's sorely lacking with our black male experience, because it's so many things coming at us from so many different angles. People worry about watch racism, watch police brutality, watch the streets, but in looking at all that, you forget about the things that they're gonna have to face in life. So now that you're alive and 18, and that burdens off our chest, because you're alive and you're old enough to be on your own. People forget to tell you the things you need to do to make it easier on yourself and on your children when you are on your own. So that's just my opinion of this. I'm out. Uh-oh.